History is full of epic battles and brilliant strategies, but also some of the biggest military blunders ever made. From Napoleon's disastrous invasion of Russia to the Spanish Armada's humiliating defeat, these mistakes changed the course of history. Today, we're counting down 7 of the biggest military mistakes that changed history. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's dive in. In 1812, Napoleon Bonaparte made one of history's greatest strategic mistakes by invading Russia. Confident in his grand army of 600,000 men, he expected a quick victory. However, the Russians refused to fight direct battles, instead using a scorched earth tactic, burning their own towns and resources to starve the French troops. After months of marching, Napoleon reached Moscow, only to find it abandoned and in flames. With no shelter or supplies, his army faced the brutal Russian winter, with temperatures dropping to minus 30 degrees Celsius. Starvation, disease, and relentless Russian attacks decimated his forces. By the time Napoleon ordered a retreat, his army was reduced to fewer than 50,000 men. The disastrous campaign weakened France's dominance and contributed to Napoleon's downfall. His mistake? Underestimating the Russian winter and logistics, a lesson that would later be ignored by another ambitious leader, Adolf Hitler. In 1941, Adolf Hitler launched Operation Barbarossa, the largest military invasion in history, sending over 3 million German troops into the Soviet Union. Confident in a quick victory, he expected to defeat the Red Army before winter. However, Hitler underestimated Soviet resilience and the vast Russian territory. The Germans advanced rapidly, but became overstretched, with supply lines struggling to keep up. Then came the Russian winter. German soldiers, unprepared for the extreme cold, froze to death, and their vehicles broke down in sub-zero temperatures. Meanwhile, Soviet reinforcements, used to the harsh climate, launched a massive counterattack. Hitler's army, once unstoppable, was forced into retreat. The failed invasion marked a turning point in World War II, as Germany was forced to fight a two-front war. Had Hitler learned from Napoleon's mistake, he might have avoided the disastrous consequences of invading Russia in winter. On December 7, 1941, Japan launched a surprise attack on Pearl Harbor, hoping to cripple the U.S. Navy. In under 2 hours, Japanese aircraft destroyed over 300 planes and sank 8 battleships, killing more than 2,400 Americans. While the attack seemed like a success, it was actually a strategic disaster for Japan. First, the U.S. aircraft carriers were not in the harbor, meaning the Pacific Fleet remained operational. Second, Japan failed to destroy key fuel reserves and shipyards, allowing for a quick recovery. But most importantly, the attack provoked the U.S. into entering World War II with full force. Just 4 years later, the U.S. dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, forcing Japan's surrender. Instead of weakening America, Pearl Harbor awakened a sleeping giant, leading to Japan's ultimate defeat. It remains a powerful lesson in the unintended consequences of military aggression. In 1588, Spain, the world's most powerful empire, launched the Spanish Armada, a massive fleet of 130 ships, to invade England and overthrow Queen Elizabeth I. However, the invasion was doomed from the start. English ships, smaller and more maneuverable, harassed the Spanish fleet, preventing them from landing troops. Then came the weather. A powerful storm, later called the Protestant wind, wrecked dozens of Spanish ships, forcing them to flee north around Scotland and Ireland. Many ships sank, and thousands of sailors drowned. In the end, only half of the Armada made it back to Spain. The failure not only ended Spain's dominance at sea, but also marked the rise of England as a global naval power. This disaster showed that even the mightiest fleets could be defeated by a combination of tactical mistakes and unpredictable weather. During the 12th century BCE, the Trojan War took place and lasted for 10 years, with the Greeks unable to breach the walls of Troy. Then, Greek hero Odysseus devised a brilliant but deceptive plan. He had a giant wooden horse built and left it as a supposed gift while pretending to retreat. The Trojans, believing they had won, brought the horse into their city. That night, Greek soldiers hidden inside the horse emerged, opened the city gates, and let in the waiting Greek army. Troy was burned to the ground, ending the war. Whether real or myth, the story of the Trojan horse remains one of history's greatest cautionary tales. Never trust gifts from your enemies. Today, the term Trojan horse is still used to describe hidden threats, deception, and cyber attacks. In 1788, during the Battle of Curensabis, the Austrian army accidentally fought itself in one of history's most absurd military blunders. During a campaign against the Ottoman Empire, Austrian scouts searching for enemies found a group of their own soldiers drinking alcohol. A drunken argument escalated into gunfire. Suddenly, someone shouted that the Ottomans were attacking. In the chaos, Austrian troops panicked and started shooting at their own men, mistaking them for the enemy. Officers, unable to restore order, fled, and the entire Austrian army retreated in terror. By morning, over 1,000 soldiers were dead, all without a single Ottoman soldier present. When the real Ottoman army arrived 2 days later, they easily captured the abandoned city. The Battle of Curensabis remains one of the most embarrassing self-inflicted defeats in history, proving that sometimes the greatest enemy is confusion and poor communication. In 217 BCE, during the Second Punic War, the Romans pursued Hannibal, believing they had him trapped during the Battle of Lake Trasimene. However, Hannibal had set a deadly trap. He positioned his troops in the hills surrounding the lake, hiding them in the fog. As the Roman army marched into the valley, Hannibal's forces ambushed them from all sides. The Romans, caught by surprise, had nowhere to escape. Thousands were slaughtered, drowned, or trampled in the chaos. In just 3 hours, Hannibal wiped out a massive Roman force, making this one of the greatest ambushes in military history. The battle demonstrated the importance of strategy, deception, and terrain, even though outnumbered. That concludes this video of 7 biggest military mistakes that changed history. Let me know in the comments what topics you would like me to cover for a future video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to support this channel. I'll see you in the next one.